Don't make me choose! Don't make me choose between my babies! For years, you guys have asked me what my favorite amp is. Questions like, if you could only pick one, which amplifier would you choose? And honestly, one of the reasons behind me collecting all these amplifiers is because I simply don't want to choose just one. I don't like settling on one single sound. I like having options, obviously. Certain moods, styles, guitars, songs, pickups, etc. call for different types of tones. And not only do I want to have all these amplifiers just for myself, I need these amplifiers for the channel to show you guys a bunch of different scenarios and different types of tones and different types of amplifiers and all that stuff. Since this is what I do. However, I will indulge today, but I'm not going to pick just one. I'm going to make a top 5 of my favorite amplifiers, and I'm going to list them in no particular order. And I'm also going to have some wild cards or runner-ups at the end. And there will be one rule. From each brand, I only get to pick one, okay? So no overlap. Okay, let's have some fun and get started. Now, the first amplifier that I really love is very obvious to me, and it was hand-built with a lot of love and care by my friends from RedSeven Amplification in Italy. And of course, I'm talking about the Leviathan, my custom Joker edition. What a cool amplifier. It's a one-of-a-kind amplifier. There's only one of them in the world, and I absolutely love that thing. It just has a very special place in my heart. This amp is just amazing, and it's so unique as well. The tonex, the custom tonex with the Joker graphics, just amazing. The white front, everything, all the attention to details, really cool. Now, if it only looked great, it would not have been in my top 5, but luckily it also sounds killer. It sounds really good. It's not a super complicated amplifier. I think it has KD88s in the power section, so it's probably around 120 watts if my memory serves me well. But it has 2 channels, each with its own EQ, gain and volume controls, 2 master volume controls, and a presence and resonance control on the back. And channel 1 and 2 both have a bright switch, and channel 1 has the hot switch, and that boosts the gain. Channel 1 is basically like a hot-rodded JCM 800 style sound, but it's not exactly the same. Has a very nice texture. And then channel 2 is like very modern, high gain. Tight, but not too tight, so it's still organic and fat sounding, and plenty of gain on tap, and it just has a lot of string definition, and it just sounds absolutely massive. Now, of course, I did a full-length review of this amplifier a year or 2 ago or so, which you can check out on the channel if you're interested. But let's take a quick listen to a clip that I made of this amplifier recently on the channel. Check it out. Pretty awesome, right? Very articulate and full, and it just stands so tall in a mix. Really cool. And it also just feels great to play through, which is of course very hard to translate through a video. Another one that just has to be on this list, of course, would be my ENGL Special Edition Founders Edition. What an incredible amplifier this is. Undoubtedly the flagship from ENGL Amplification. And this here is the 6L6 version. Loaded with features and amazing tones, and this is probably the finest amplifier that ENGL has ever created. You can get any type of sound out of this thing, but it does it all within the realm of ENGL, so it sounds signature, but it still is very versatile. 5 channels, including the tube driver channel on the back, so clean, crunch, 2 lead channels, and a lot of switches for you to control the tone, like bright switches, gain switches, a noise gate, reverb. You've got the classic and modern switch for the power amp, and a lot of stuff like that, as well as 3 effects loops, MIDI. I could go on. And it's also just very easy to dial in, and it's basically fine-tuned to perfection. And if I had to pick one ENGL out of all of my ENGLs, this would definitely be the one. Let's take a quick listen to a clip from my review that I did with this amplifier. Enjoy. Wonderful, so tight and crunchy. Love it. So yeah, there is a full review and demo of this amplifier on my channel that you can check out if you're interested. Can't say enough good things about this amplifier. Next up on the list is my Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus over there. That's one of my recent additions to the collection, and it's an absolute beast. Designed by my friend Daniel from Lichtlaerm Audio, a very unique amplifier, and mine looks unique as well. I call it red velvet because of the white tonex and the stained red wooden front. But yeah, that amplifier also has a special place in my heart because Daniel's a friend of mine and it's a unique amplifier and it's just a brand that I love working with in general. You can check out my full review for all the information and all the tones, but it basically has two channels, a clean channel and a heavy channel, but you can switch the heavy channel to a vintage mode for less gain, so a kind of crunch tone. And it has a bunch of cool controls to fine-tune the tone, like the bite switch and the cut control to make the sound more tight or loose. There's also the preamp defeat switch, which lets you turn off the preamp and let the signal from the front jack go straight to the power amp. And yeah, let's also check out a clip of that amplifier real quick. Awesome, so that definitely has a chunky and fat sound going on, and I love it. And it's unique too. Next up is my newest addition to my collection, the Revv Generator 120 Mark III Revision B. I also did a full review and demo of this amplifier on the channel recently, which I recommend checking out for all the tones. And I call this amplifier Barbie for obvious reasons. I'd never tried a Revv amplifier before, but upon plugging it in for the first time, I knew that this would be one of my favorites. So it has a very unique sound. It sounds massive, 120 watts, obviously. 4 channels with a bunch of tone shaping options, bright switch. On the lead channels, you've got the fat switch, the cut switch, and the bright switch, which is just awesome for shaping the tone, you know. And channel 3 and 4 have a ton of gain on tap, great for rock and metal, which is what I specialize in, of course. You've also got the built-in 2-notes reactive load, which can be very handy, reverb, noise gate, and all the good stuff. But most of all, as I said, it just sounds unique. When you plug it in and when you play it or when you hear it in a mix, it's quite easy to say, hey, that's a Revv, because of that thick sound and those huge mids. And doesn't the pink look stunning too? I think it looks absolutely awesome and very brutal. Awesome. Now, let's take a listen to a clip from the Revv. Check it out. What an amazing amp, and definitely worthy of being in my top 5. And finally, number 5 would be my recently acquired Soldano SLO 30, which I bought for my birthday. I've already featured this amplifier in a bunch of videos, and I love this amplifier so much. I mean, it's tiny, it's cute, it's only 30 watts, but it does have two 6L6 tubes in the power section, and it sounds massive. The clean and crunch tones are amazing, but the high gain tones have something special. I really like the tones that I'm getting out of this amplifier. It's a great sort of best of general distortion tone that just works well for anything. And with general, I don't mean that it's bland. Absolutely not. It's the opposite of bland. It has so much character. It has the nice fizzle. It has the good mids and the chunky lows. And for the low end, the depth control really helps with that. I love that control for fine-tuning the thump. So yeah, it's a simple amp. It's a Soldano. I love it. I love the Soldano sound. Let's take a quick listen to a clip. Amazing. Gotta love the Soldano sound, and also worthy of being in the top 5. Of course, I had to leave out some amplifiers, and I do love most of my amplifiers a lot. They all do something unique, and they're all special in their own ways. But as I said in the beginning, I'm gonna hand out some wild cards of some amazing amplifiers that I also love a lot. One of them would be my trusty orange Rockerverb 50 Mark III down there. It's an amazing amplifier. It's the best orange amplifier for high gain, in my opinion. I mean, the Dark Terror and the TH30 and stuff, those are great too, but this one just sounds so thick and solid, and it just sounds so massive. And the clean channel is beautiful too. Another semi-favorite of mine would be the Diezel VH2. 100 watts, 4 EL34s in the power section, 2 channels, but very versatile. You got the clean channel that you can also use as a crunch channel, and then channel 2, which is the high gain channel, and it does all the Diezel thickness. And this amplifier sounds absolutely massive, again, with a lot of mids on tap. And the low end is unreasonably huge on this thing. It looks unique too, and it's obviously sort of a legendary amplifier. It's not the VH4, it's not the Herbert, but it does the sort of main sound that the VH4 has to offer, in my opinion, and I absolutely love it. And then we have the Victory Kraken MKII, which I also got a little while ago, and it's such a cool amplifier. It's small, but it's 50 watts. It's loud, and it does a lot of things. You've got the beautiful clean tones. The crunch tones on the gain 1 channel are cool, really rich and full and hairy. And then the gain 2 channel is tight and ferocious. So it does a lot of things in that compact little head, and I really like the tones. Also because they're just very unique. It would be even better if the gain 2 channel had more gain on tap, but other than that, I really like that amplifier. Another really cool amplifier that I do need to use more on the channel would be my Driftwood Purple Nightmare. Also a great amplifier, a little bit more rare than say a Marshall or a Boogie, but it's just a very cool amplifier. And again, quite unique. Clean channel is nice, very high headroom, clean. And the heavy channel is just very big and saturated and hairy. Kind of inspired by a rectifier, I think, but perhaps a little bit more tight. And the built-in boost, so it's basically a built-in tube screamer that it has, can be used to tighten up the tone and to add more focus. It's a loud amplifier. It looks beautiful with the purple front, and it has some really cool and unique features as well. Really cool amplifier and unique again. Now the final amplifier on this list, oh my gosh, would be the Mesa Single Rectifier. This thing is awesome. Got it used, and in my opinion, it's the coolest and most ferocious sounding rectifier that I've ever used. So that's really cool. 2 channels. It's the Series 1, so it's the older version. It sounds really tight. The low end is huge. The cleans are nice. The pushed mode is kind of okay, but the vintage and modern modes on the Red channel are just awesome. The tones hang with all the other rectifiers in my opinion. Perhaps it has a little bit less headroom than the dual or triple rectifiers, but for my situation, that doesn't really matter. So for me, it's the perfect rectifier. It sounds so good. So those were my favorite amplifiers, as well as some wild cards. I'm sorry, Archon. I'm sorry, Double J Jr. I'm sorry, my Peavies. I'm sorry, Marshalls. I'm sorry, my Wongs. I'm sorry, Astro. I'm sorry, all the other oranges. I'm so sorry. I love you all. I just can't choose. Luckily, I don't have to. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it useful. If you enjoyed it, please hit a like and subscribe down below, as that really helps the channel out. I'd usually appreciate it. And of course, you can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook and Instagram. You can also check out my Ko-Fi web store for captures and presets and all that good stuff, or to simply support the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.